Welcome back. I'm Giovanni Delfino, and this is Delfino con Negocios Market Brief. We are having two special guests today. We have Rob Retzlaff from the Connected Commerce Council. He's the executive director, and we're going to talk about the Maryland Online Privacy Act of 2024, how this may affect small business owners if it goes through. And we're going to have also a business owner, Sharika is her name, and she's going to talk about also her perspectives of how this may affect her business. We'll be back with them in a minute. Hello, Rob. How are you doing? Sharika?
Doing well. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. And so we have this very important law that is going through. We have the Maryland Online Privacy Act of 2024, the SB541 and HB567. Please, Rob, explain us what is this about and how this may affect the small business.
Yeah, sure. So right now, the Maryland State Legislature is currently considering the Maryland Online Data Privacy Act, which is a piece of legislation aimed at safeguarding online privacy for consumers in the state of Maryland. While well-intentioned and while Congress is still working on trying to pass a federal privacy law, certain provisions of the Maryland bill are kind of concerning as currently written that could significantly hurt small businesses. Right now, the state of Maryland is getting ready to adjourn next week, which is why it's super important right now that the state legislature fixes the bill before it's too late. A couple of pieces that were calling to action when it comes to the small business perspective kind of pertain to digital advertising. And right now, according to research that we just released, over 70% of small businesses in Maryland are using digital advertising in their marketing strategies, which is pretty significant. So when it comes to digital advertising, and I'll let Sharika speak a little bit more about how she uses online ads to reach new customers, there are a couple of things that we have some concerns with when it comes to this legislation that we can dive into a little bit later.
Great. So let me go over this again, just to make sure we have this clear. So about 70% of Maryland small businesses use digital advertising to grow their business, and this law may affect the quality, of course, of the data that goes to these systems, and the systems that will make more expensive, less effective for small business owners who use these systems to get to their customers. Is that correct?
Spot on. Yes, exactly. So as currently written with this legislation right now, there is a significant chance that digital advertising could be significantly impacted based on the data that powers these online ads, helping these small businesses leverage these tools that are very cost effective to reach new customers. So right now, without this critical data, small businesses are at risk of potentially paying more for online advertising that would potentially be less effective to consumers.
Right. And we have Sharika here with us. She's a small business owner. Can you tell us about your business and how you use digital platforms to reach your customers? How this law can also affect your business in that sense?
Definitely. My name is Sharika Winter, CEO and co-founder of TW Tote is a 1 to 4 day travel company where we specialize with anything that you would need for your 1 to 4 day travel needs. We've since coined the term short-term carry. The way that we use digital ads is pretty just multifaceted. Anything from ads on social media to Google general search ads to YouTube ads, short and long. It's the primary way that we engage or have that first cold or even just a warm retargeting engagement with our potential customers.
Now, what kind of platforms is all platforms that will get affected by this law, of course? And we know that this law is also, or these kind of laws are also getting created across the states, not just in the state of Maryland. So can you tell us, Rob, a little bit about what makes it different and what's the impact? Why should we have or not have a law in the state of Maryland rather than just going by the federal?
I think it's important because each state has a certain demographic. Like
Mhm.
all of our ads is just based on demographics, important information about someone's age and or their lifestyle or their income, things that are very important to small businesses, but also allow for small businesses to identify these smaller niche markets by which they can serve, which are properly not being served by the larger businesses, right? And so we were to look at Maryland the same way we look at California. That's a different lifestyle, that's a different pace, that's a different everything. And I'm not even just talking about, we can look at Beltsville, we can look at Laurel, we can look at College Park, which is different from San Diego, San Francisco, and Los Angeles, right? So it's important for our legislators to know that each state has its own personality, and within those personalities are even sub-personalities per whether it be the city and or village that you're in. And so this overarching law, while it may work for, let's say, our Western or Midwestern counterparts, it's not working really well for us over here in kind of like this Middle Eastern arena.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I agree exactly what Sharika said. I think, it is important that states do consider and pass their own state privacy laws while Congress is still trying to figure out how to implement a bill that would kind of preempt all these different state laws taking place throughout the country. I think when it comes to this piece of legislation, for the most part, it is really good, well-intentioned legislation. I think that there are a couple of things written that hopefully we can try and convince legislators to try and fix before it goes to a final vote, that hopefully will mitigate any sort of unintended consequences to small businesses that could be impacted, like TW Tote in Maryland.
Right. The privacy is a real concern, right? But what should be different in this law to make it, a win-win situation for both sides?
It's a great question. I think, without getting too deep into the weeds, there are a couple of things specific to online advertising that help power these very cost-effective ads for small businesses that help level the playing field so that way they can compete with larger size businesses. A couple of things specific to the bill kind of include targeted advertising. I think with less data, as it would be potentially overregulated in this bill, it would be very difficult to try and create effective advertising campaigns for small businesses to reach that type of customer. As Sharika mentioned, through online advertising right now, you can target a specific demographic, a specific age group, a specific geography with online advertising. That data is anonymous. Sharika doesn't know who these customers are that are getting served their ads. I think it's important to establish that this information that they're working with helps kind of align their ad for a consumer that would be most interested in potentially purchasing their content. I think the other thing
Go ahead.
The other thing to kind of keep in mind here is that data minimization is something that not many people understand when it comes to using online advertising, but there is what's called data minimization in here that would restrict the amount of data that a small business could collect on their customers. And I think it's important for legislators to understand that, as Sharika mentioned, when it comes to consumer information that they use to power their online advertising, such as demographics and purchase history, this information and data is gold for making their marketing campaigns highly personalized and in order for them to serve and get that product sold to that customer that would be most interested in that type of product.
Mm-hmm. So, and I see that the organization Connected Council has vast information about these issues. We can go to connectedcouncil.org policies-Maryland for more information. Anything else you would like to add for those listening to you today?
Sharika, I'll let you go first if there was anything that you wanted to add.
Definitely. Only thing I want to add is that we understand that privacy is an issue, but privacy is something that's an overarching word. And I think if we've spent the time to really break down what it means for us to maintain our individual privacy online and see what's actually being shared versus what we think may be shared, I think that would give legislative personnel a perspective that may have not been considered. As Rob said, demographic information, general behavior information is very different than giving my first name and my last name and my city of location, right? And so how we define what private means is important. And I think that's going to be the tool by which we can help change this law.
Rob?
Absolutely. Agree 100%. I think, as legislators finalize this bill, I think there's a critical need to balance data privacy protections with support for Maryland small businesses and innovation like TW Tote and many others throughout the state. So that's why we are urging lawmakers right now to consider amendments that will help foster this growth and innovation while also ensuring data privacy protections.
Great. Thank you very much, Rob and Sharika, for offering us a few minutes to learn more about this legislation and how this can affect small business so they can act. So they can go now to connectedcouncil.org/policy/Maryland to get more information and connect as well. Thank you, Rob and Sharika. I hope to have you soon again with us.
Thank you. Bye.
So this was Rob and Sharika, both commenting about the Maryland Online Privacy Act of 2024, and you can have, like I said, you can go for more information. You can check for more information on connectedcouncil.org/policies/Maryland for more information. We'll be back with more at Delfino con negocios.